Man, this is how I know the economy is bad right now. I just made $34 in 8 hours on DoorDash today. $34. I ain't never made that. I ain't never did this on DoorDash. Man, having a job is the best thing you can have, man, because it's guaranteed. You know what I'm saying? It might be mundane, but man, you ain't got to depend on tearing your car up and none of that, and you getting the same guaranteed check every Friday. Like, man, $34 in 8 hours, man. And y'all thought I was playing when I said TikTok is the new DoorDash. Crazy, man. Oh yeah, that video finna come up too. That's finna be my next video. Y'all finna see exactly how much money I made. Y'all finna see what 19 cents got me on TikTok. But man, DoorDash, y'all ought to be ashamed of y'allself, man. $34 in 8 hours, and I'm a platinum member. Crazy.
Just went to Walmart, bought 2 pair of Wrangler work pants and a pack of underwear, spent $84 fucking dollars. Hell, I should have bought some Vaseline so it would have felt good while they were fucking me. Just went to Walmart, bought 2 pair of Wrangler work pants and a pack of underwear, spent $84 fucking dollars. Hell, I should have bought some Vaseline so it would have felt good while they were fucking me.
Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all honor, praises, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rekakadash, and double honors and respect to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me this truth, as well as much respect and honors to the brothers that are pushing this truth in sincerity across the four winds of this earth and risking their lives and freedom to do so. I would also like to give much honors and respect to the brothers and sisters that are of the hopeful elect, that are doing their very best to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High to the best of their abilities. Shalom. As you saw, I shared with you a couple of videos that I found on TikTok, and you have this video right here, this first video that I shared with you. You have this Jake right here, and he says that he's doing DoorDash, and here it is. He was saying within 8 hours of doing DoorDash, he only made about $34. Okay. Now see, this right here, it just goes to show you that the times, it's showing you the times that we in. Okay, because here it is, a lot of people out here, they're struggling to try to make the ends meet. The grinding is ceasing over here. Okay, the work is drying up. You got everything is becoming inflated, and so people are not really, having that type of money to, spend on, certain things, such as DoorDash and whatnot. And so that's why, you have this Jake right here. He says he was, he's been working for 8 hours and he's only made about $34. And then he had also mentioned something along the lines of that if you have a full-time job or if you have a regular 9 to 5, you're in a good place. He was saying something along those lines. But again, with that being said, the grinding is ceasing over here. And so a lot of people are becoming out of work. A lot of people are becoming unemployed because here it is, you got businesses. They're downsizing, businesses are shutting their doors, okay, businesses are closing down, and so therefore, people are becoming unemployed and out of work. Here it is, the unemployment rate is just steadily on the rise over here, okay? And it just shows you the times that we're in. It just shows you that this place, America, also known as Babylon the Great, it's on life support, and that plug is soon about to be pulled. Also, in the second video that I shared with you, you have this man who appeared to be an Edomite. I think he said he had went to Walmart, and he had purchased, I think, 2 pair of Wrangler jeans. And I think he said he had purchased a pair of underwear. And I think he said he was out about $84. And he had said something along the lines of that, someone needed to give him some grease or something like that. Because basically what he was saying was he was basically being screwed. I mean, because he was paying an inflated price, for 2 pair of Wrangler work jeans and some underwear. Now here it is, as I had, watched that video of that man who appeared to be an Edomite, who said that he had paid about $84 for 2 pair of Wrangler jeans at Walmart and some underwear. I had looked in the comments, and some people were saying that they can remember when Wrangler jeans could be purchased for around $19 at Walmart. I've never, I don't know if I've ever owned a pair of Wrangler jeans, but I do know that Wrangler jeans, at Walmart at one time, they did used to be somewhat affordable. I mean, you wouldn't pay a bunch of money for them. But, now everything is just becoming inflated now. And so the price of everything is going up. And so, more of these things are coming. Okay, this place, America, is a sinking ship, And with that being said, this is why you have to spiritually detach yourself from this place and return to the Father and the Son. And when I say Israel, I'm talking about you so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, and those that are of the speckled bird that look like these other nations, but you go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob on your father's side. Okay, more inflation is coming. Okay, the grinding is going to continue to cease over here. Okay, more layoffs are coming. Okay, and eventually, okay, an economic crash is coming. Okay, and that's what these devils want. Okay, they want to basically do away with this current monetary system and to bring in a new digital monetary system. Okay, which is going to be backed by that MO to the T to the B, that implantable grain of rice. And speaking of that MO to the T to the B, Israel, if you allow these devils to violate you with that MO to the T to the B, you're missile food. Okay, the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai is going to destroy you, because the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai told us to stay clear of that MO to the T to the B. However, we already know that we're going to have 2/3 of our people who lack faith. They're going to run down and they're going to allow this devil Esau to violate them with that MO to the T to the B. And that's going to lead to their destruction. Okay, but these devils, they want this current monetary system to go away so that they can bring in a new digital monetary system. So therefore, they can better track everything. These devils, they want total control. Okay, but with that being said, this place is just going to continue to wax worse and worse. Okay, you're going to hear about more layoffs. Okay, you're going to hear about more shortages. Okay, of goods and supplies. Okay, here it is. There's also a shortage of a fuel. Okay, and so the price of fuel is going up. Here it is, and I've shared this in previous lessons. This gas station that I normally go to, at one point the fuel was kind of going down a couple of cents, but now I see that it's starting to go back up. Okay, and so now is the time to get right with the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai, because more troubles, more calamities are coming. Okay, and those by people who are not seeking the Lord, they're going to be in a bad case, right along with these Edomites and the rest of these heathens. I saw these two videos and I just thought that I would bring out a quick lesson. I'm going to go ahead and bring out a couple of scriptures. The first scripture I want to go to is in the book of 2nd Ezra. This is chapter 16 and this is verse 74. And it reads, "Hear, O ye, my beloved, said the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same." Okay, and see, we're definitely living in some troublesome times. Okay, Jacob's trouble is here. And you're already having hell that's beginning to break loose over here in various parts of Babylon the Great. And very soon, all hell is going to be breaking loose over here in Babylon the Great. The days are just going to continue to wax worse and worse. Okay, here it is. I mean, we're hearing about, shortages, okay, that are going on over here. Okay, and see, we're hearing about a shortage of goods and supplies, and they're saying more of these things are coming. Okay, especially when you take into consideration, that there's fuel shortages. Okay, and that the price of fuel is also going up, which is also going to hurt these truckers. And so these truckers are not going to be able to run. A lot of these truckers are not going to be able to run. And so that right there is going to contribute to more shortages of goods and supplies, as well as even food. Okay, and also too, the price of food is going up. Okay, people are struggling to try to put food on the table and whatnot. Okay, people are struggling to feed their families and whatnot. Okay, also too, here it is, as I had mentioned, the grinding is ceasing over here. The work is drying up over here. The job market is trash. Okay, you got inflation that's on the rise. The dollar bill, okay, it's becoming worthless. Okay, and so we're definitely in some troublesome times. We're hearing about wars and rumors of wars. You still got the situation that's going on over there between Iran, the state of Israel, and the U.S. Okay, this place is not going to get any better, And so, with that being said, now is the time to get right with the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai. And, those of us that are of the hopeful elect, what we're going to do is we're going to continue to put our faith and trust in the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai, and not this failing system of Esau's, because that's what it is. This is a failing system. Esau's system is failing right before our eyes, and it's going to fall. And again, those of us that are of the hopeful elect, we're going to continue to put our faith and trust in the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai, because we know that it's the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai that's providing for us. We know that it's the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai that's ensuring that we get our daily bread. Okay. But, with that being said, as I had mentioned, we already know the 2/3 white people, it's not going to end well for them, because the 2/3 white people, they lack faith. Okay. And so therefore the 2/3 white people, they're going to be in a bad case right along with these Edomites and the rest of these heathens. Okay. Because of the wickedness that they're partaking in. The 2/3 white people are going to receive the same harsh judgments as these Edomites and the rest of these heathens. Okay. Let's get the next verse. Because again, more inflation is coming. Okay. The grinding is going to continue to cease over here. Okay. More shortages are coming. More shortages of goods and supplies, as well as food. Okay. This place is just going to continue to wax worse and worse. And see, with that being said, with inflation on the rise, a shortage of goods and supplies, okay, a shortage of food, okay, people are struggling to try to put food on the table. That's leading to people becoming on edge and crashing out. It's also leading to an increase of crime, theft, and violence. Okay, all these things are going to continue to be on the rise. Okay, crime, theft, and violence, because you're going to have people trying to get it however they can get it. Even that means taking from others, and this is already beginning to happen right now. Okay, but with that being said, the Lord is going to protect the elect man, lady, and children. The Lord is going to ensure that His elect have everything they need to survive. And again, Lord willing, we are that elect number. This is 2 Ezra chapter 16. This is verse 75. And it reads, "Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for the Most High is your guide." Okay. And, again, those of us that are of the hopeful elect, we have faith in the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Okay. And we know that the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua has our backs. And we're going to continue to let the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua be our guide. Okay. Because again, we know that it's the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua that's providing for us. And see, here it is, as I had mentioned, earlier, the gas station that I normally go to, at one point the gas was kind of going down a little bit, maybe a couple of cents or so, but now I'm seeing that it's starting to creep back up. But, even with that being said, I know it's because of the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua that I'm able to, put gas in my vehicle and, do the things that I need to do. Okay. And so, with that being said, I give all praises, honor and glory to the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, for, taking care of me. Also, too, with my work situation, I'm in a situation to where, I work from home the majority of the time. So, I don't have to just, get out and, and commute, and therefore, having to burn a lot of gas and whatnot. And, that's the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua looking out for me. Okay. And again, this is why you have to fear the Lord. This is why you have to repent, Israel, because again, the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is going to, take care of those who fear Him. Okay. Now, again, you had the Jake, he was talking about if you had a regular, pretty much a regular 9 to 5, you would be in a pretty good case. But, again, these jobs, they're going away. A lot of these jobs are going away. The grinding is ceasing over here. Okay, the work is drying up. Okay, so a lot of people are becoming unemployed. The unemployment rate is just steadily on the rise over here. This is Isaiah, this is chapter 19, and I want to start in verse 14. And it reads, "The Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua have mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggering in his vomit." Okay, and see, here it is, the people over here, are caught into the perverse ways that's pushed out over here in America. Okay, you got 2/3 white people, they're caught into the perverse ways. Okay, right along with these Edomites and the rest of these heathens. Okay, you got 2/3 white people that are caught into, these fake religions. Okay, they caught into these different enchantments that are pushed out over here. Okay, you got 2/3 white people that are into worshiping white man Jesus. Okay, here it is, you have 2/3 white people, they look at this devil Esau, okay, as being a higher power. Here it is, the 2/3 white people, they're caught into all forms of wickedness, okay, that's pushed out over here in Babylon the Great. And so that right there, it just shows you that, the 2/3 white people, the majority of white people over here in America are through. Okay. And see, this is why, 2/3 white people over here in America, they're going to continue to get caught into the evils and the calamities. Okay. They're going to get caught into the plagues, okay, that the Most High is sending on this place. The 2/3 white people are going to receive the same harsh judgments as these Edomites and the rest of these heathens, because 2/3 white people are being wicked just like these Edomites and the rest of these heathens. Okay. Isaiah chapter 19, this is verse 15. And it reads, neither should there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. Okay, and again, this Jake was saying that, if you, it would be better to have a regular 9 to 5 than to, do DoorDash. But again, the work is drying up over here. Okay, a lot of people are becoming unemployed, and you're having many of these businesses, they're downsizing and shutting their doors, and as a result, we're seeing and hearing about massive layoffs that are happening. The unemployment rate is just continuing to skyrocket over here. Okay. Again, the grinding is ceasing over here, and it's all sectors. Okay, it's all forms of work. Okay, that are being hit with with unemployment. With the unemployment rate. Here it is, even the federal jobs. Okay, at one time, a federal job was considered to be somewhat of a secure employment, but that's not the case anymore, because here it is, you're having federal employees. I want to say around the beginning of this year, and I think the later part of last year, you had a lot of federal employees, that were let go. Okay, and again, at one time, the federal government was considered to be, or working for the federal government was considered to be somewhat of a secure employment, but that's not the case anymore. None of these jobs are secure. Again, the grinding is ceasing over here in Babylon the Great, and those are people who, are putting their faith and trust in this failing system of Esau's. They're about to be in a bad case, because America is literally circling the toilet. Okay, America is literally circling the toilet. This is Isaiah chapter 19, verse 16. It says, "In the day shall Egypt be like unto women, and it shall be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the hand of the Lord Yahweh Bashem of hosts, which he shaketh over it." Okay, and see, here it is, you're having people, they're becoming nervous, and people are becoming afraid because they don't know if they're going to have a job to go to the next day or not. Okay, people are nervous and they're stressing out because, of the inflated prices, okay, of everything that's becoming, outrageously high. And so people, they're struggling to try to put food on the table. Okay, people are struggling to try to feed their families. People are struggling to try to keep a roof over their heads. I've shared this in previous lessons. Okay, that here it is. There's been several people within my neighborhood that have had to sell their homes. Okay, because they either have lost their jobs or they just can no longer afford to pay their mortgages. Because here it is, the mortgage rates are going up because over here in this area where I stay at, you got taxes, they're on the rise. Okay, and so therefore, with the taxes on the rise, people's insurance are also going up, and so that right there is causing people's mortgage rates to increase. And so therefore, a lot of people over here in this neighborhood where I live at, there's quite a few people. Homes have been popping up for sale all throughout my neighborhood and whatnot. And you've had several people, they have lost their jobs. Okay, a lot of people, within this neighborhood that I live in, they I guess work for the federal government, or they were affiliated somehow with the federal government. But again, I want to say the early part of this year and the later part of last year, the federal government let go of a lot of people. And so a lot of people, that hurt a lot of people. And so a lot of people, they had to sell their homes and whatnot. And, some people had just lost their homes. But, a lot of people, they're afraid because they don't know, what tomorrow's going to bring. Because, the future for America is not good. It's dark. It's looking dark. Okay. And again, this place is not going to recover. It's just going to continue to wax worse and worse. And eventually it's going to be destroyed. Okay. You got all these other nations, they're threatening war with America right now as we speak. And very soon the Lord Yahweh Bashem is going to put the spirit on these other nations, okay, to turn on America and to fire thermonuclear missiles on America, okay, which is going to lead to the destruction of America. World War III is building up right now as we speak, okay? That MO to the T to the B is here. It just hadn't been mandated as of yet, but you best believe these devils, they're going to mandate it very soon. And once these devils mandate that MO to the T to the B, World War III is going to go full blown, which is going to lead to the destruction of Babylon the Great and all these wicked people over here. Only the elect, man, lady, and children will have that hedge of protection of them and will be delivered before this place is ultimately destroyed. So, now is the time to get right with the Lord Yahweh Bashem Abishah. Okay. This is the book of Zephaniah, and this is chapter 1. And this is verse 10. And it reads, "And it shall come to pass in that day, said the Lord Yahweh Bashem Abishah, that there shall be a noise of a cry from the fish gate, and an howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hills. Okay, and see, this scripture right here is going into an economic crash. And, that's what's, happening, to America. Okay, this place, America, also known as Babylon the Great, it's getting ready to fall. Okay, and see, this is why we're hearing about massive layoffs that are happening. The grinding is ceasing over here. Okay, we're hearing about businesses, that are downsizing, shutting their doors, and we're hearing about businesses that are just closing up altogether. Okay, here it is, the dollar bill. Okay, it's losing its spending power. Okay, here it is, everything is becoming inflated. Okay, there's also reports of shortages of different goods and supplies, and more of these things are coming. Okay, there's also there's been reports of food shortages in various parts of Babylon the Great. More of these things are coming because famine is coming to Babylon the Great. Okay, this place is on its way out. Okay, and these Babylonians, which includes these Edomites along with the rest of these heathens and the 2/3 by people, they're going to be in a bad case. Okay, and see, here it is, a lot of them are upset because they don't want to see this place fall. And see, but there's nothing that they can do about it. And because America is going to fall. And once this economy over here finally collapses, okay, you're going to have a lot of people, which includes the 2/3 of our people. They're going to be running to Esau, looking for some help, And Esau, he may offer them, something. He may offer them a little severance pack, a little package or something, some type of, a few crumbs or something like that. But in exchange, Esau, he's going to want them to, to get that M to the T to the B. Okay. And again, those black people who allow this devil Esau to violate them with that M to the T to the B, they're going to be missile food. Right along with these Edomites and the rest of these heathens over here in Babylon the Great. When the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua annihilates this place with thermonuclear missiles and the laser beams that's going to come from those chariots. Okay. This is Zephaniah chapter 1. This is verse 11. It reads, "How, ye inhabitants of Maktesh, for all the merchant people are cut down. All they that bear silver are cut off." Okay. And see, investors, people who play the stock market, they're beginning to feel the crash of this economy. And, they're about to be in a bad case. And see, with that being said, everyone is going to feel the crash of this economy. But, with that being said, the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is going to be with his elect. The Lord is going to ensure that his elect have everything they need to survive. Okay. And so, again, this is why you have to spiritually detach yourself from this place and return to the Father and the Son. Because, again, the Lord is going to protect the elect man, lady, and children. The Lord is going to ensure that his elect have everything they need, okay, to survive. And again, Lord willing, we are that elect number. And so again, those of us that are of the hopeful elect, we're going to continue to put our faith and trust in the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, and not this failing system of Esau. Okay. This is Matthew, and this is chapter 6, and this is verse 26, and it reads, "Behold, the fowls of the air, for they sow not, neither do they reap, nor gather into barns, yet your heavenly Father feedeth them. Are ye not much better than they?" Okay, and that's right, because the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, he ensures that the fowls of the air are taken care of. He ensures that the fowls of the air, have shelter and they have, food to eat. And so, if the Lord takes care of the fowls of the air, he's definitely going to take care of the elect man, lady, and children. Okay, the Lord is going to ensure that his servants eat, And again, those of us that are of the hopeful elect, we have faith in knowing that, the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is going to feed and, take care of us. Okay. And so again, you have to spiritually detach yourself from this place, Israel. Now is the time to get right with the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Okay, so that you and yours can be spared. Okay, and delivered. We're not left over here to get caught into the evils and the calamities. We're not left over here to get caught into that ultimate calamity that's going to come to Babylon the Great, which is going to come by way of thermonuclear missiles, which is going to annihilate this place and all these wicked people over here. Okay, I want to end off in the book of Isaiah. This is chapter 3, and this is verse 10 that I want to start in. And it reads, "Say ye to the righteous that it shall be well with him, but they shall eat the fruit of their doings." Verse 11, it says, "Woe unto the wicked." Woe means destruction. It says, "It shall be ill with him, for the reward of his hands shall be given him." Okay, and so again, you know, the Lord is going to ensure that those who fear him are spared and protected and have everything they need to survive. And so again, it's going to go well with the Lord's elect. And again, Lord willing, we of that elect number. But as for the 2/3 of our people, right along with these Edomites and the rest of these heathens over here in Babylon the Great, they're going to be in a bad case. It's not going to end well for them. Okay, they're going to continue to get caught into the evils and the calamities, okay, that are coming. Okay, they're going to get caught into the race riots, okay, the civil unrest, okay, the famines, okay, the pestilences, okay, some freak accident. They're going to get caught into that ultimate calamity that's coming to Babylon the Great, which is going to come by way of thermonuclear missiles, which is going to destroy this place. And so, again, now is the time to repent, Israel, if you haven't already done so. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and end off here. I hope it was edifying. Once again, I want to give all honor, praises, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, and double honors and respect to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, Kwame Yasharala and Abba Abba. Shalom.